We're at the Straight Up Racing Shop. We're here with the owner, Bill Payne, and I just want to know what's been going on with you guys lately.
Well, we are in our winter break. It's it's the Thanksgiving weekend. Most of the guys are at home with their families or taking some time. We do have a couple of guys that came in today. This was my weekend to be able to start getting the major Payne body done. It was our first attempt just trying to do the patina, so we wanted to do more of that military theme for it since it is an old M5 tank. So we started out, with obviously building the body, and then we got most of the body work done because our mold is old and tattered. So every body that we produce, we have to do a lot of body work to it because everything's got a lot of cracks in it and a lot of waffle marks. Anyways, so then we started with a red oxide primer, and then I went ahead and dusted on the green, and then I was able to 320 grit wet sand most of the green off. That way you can see all these little rub through spots. And then I just took 5 different colors of spray can with a sponge, and that's how I was able to make the rust part. I still have to do some wet sanding over the lettering just to try to distress those, and then I'll clear it with a flat clear. So we'll see. It was definitely different yesterday, painting this body green, and then it was doing mind tricks on me because I wasn't sure if I liked it because it just something I wasn't used to. But now I'm really starting to like just the look of it, and I think once it's on that tank chassis, it'll look really good, especially with the motor sticking through the hood and with the zoomies and everything else. There's lots going on in the shop. I mean, as you see, it's a disaster around here. As soon as you get into the winter quarter, everything's being disassembled. We got a couple other trucks on the other side, reverse racers, getting all the knuckles are taken off of it. That way we can fix all of the tie rod bolts that had been bending all the time because the brackets are starting to get oblong. So we cut all those off and trying to get everything all rebuilt, and repainting forelinks and diffs, going through the shocks, painting the shocks, just trying to make them look presentable again, because when you do 35 weekends at 75, 78 shows a year, they get pretty tattered and beat up. We were hoping Rockstar this year was going to be the last year and we are going to be able to have time to build a new one, but we're starting right in January. We were hoping that we'd be able to kind of start late in the year like we did last year, but we've got quite a few changes to it. Changing the steering system around. We're doing large cylinders in it, front and rear, so they're 3-inch bore cylinders. So that means we have to have dual rear steer pumps. We have to have a larger front steering pump. We have to do twice the size of the orbital. And then we're doing a locker in the front diff, and then we're doing 583 gears in the front end with the 644 gears in the back. Thoughts is it'll make the front end pull harder. You'll see a lot of the guys with the 106s will do the 614 and the 620 ratio. Some of them have actually been starting to do the 581, I think, is their ratio in the front end. Mainly it just makes the cornering pull harder so you don't spin out as much. I've just noticed that the guys are really starting to get good at racing, and they've been really putting a whooping on me this year. So hopefully I can make some changes to Rockstar to make it be that much better for next year, and make them learn their driving again. Pound Hound's already been done. As you guys see, we're doing lots of videos of how we're doing it, and then Lorna's been doing a lot of the time lapse for us. So I'm just putting pushing the play button on it when I've been working here at nights, or during the day when the guys are on the other side busy doing with the maintenance and getting trucks ready. And then whether it be the motor or when I was doing the Pound Hound build, we did all of the videoing on this as well. So she'll be working on that here in the next few days, trying to get all the video time lapsed. That way you guys can see the process of when I body worked it, to the primers, to the different color primers, to the green, the sanding, and everything. We hope everybody likes what we do. We enjoy everybody coming to the shows. Next year we actually got a few new markets. Columbia, Oregon is on board for the July 21st and 22nd. We also have added a second show to Stockton, California. So the first weekend of May, they're going to do a 14 truck field. The October show in Stockton is going to be an 18 truck field. So it's a lot of these venues are starting to do really, really well, with attendance and the crowds, and they're trying to make the shows bigger and better. So we're going to be bringing Major Payne to every show that is one of our own shows this year, just to make the show that much better.
When you got these new markets on board and you show up at these events, as far as selling the shows, Malicious Monster Truck Tour. What's the big selling point as far as you selling at the racetracks or fairs or whatever? What do these fairs like about what you offer?
The biggest thing is just word of mouth. I really don't even have to say much. It's, we've been going to some of these same places for so long. It's once I get there, usually people meet me in the breakfast room and try to ask about dates. So that's one thing that's good about, we try to give quality everywhere we go. The next best thing is because since we own all the equipment, they know exactly what they're getting. Where, a lot of the, your middleman promoters out there, if they get a contract, the first thing they have to do is try to find trucks. Well, if somebody waits and holds their deposits, or whether they're just dragging their feet trying to make up their mind whether they're doing the show, all the good trucks start getting booked out, especially when you're talking, the second weekend of August. You've got so many shows. You've got Clark County, you've got Rocky Mountain, you've got Grass Valley, you've got Eureka, California. You've got so many shows that need so many monster trucks. Well, then if you throw another show in on that weekend, where do the trucks come from? So either you've got to find, trucks from the East Coast and trying to get them to come out here is pretty hard to do, or you have to find some of the lesser quality trucks that, nobody hires or that have a hard time. So it's just getting harder, for those people to be able to sell quality when they don't know what show they're going to get. Do you need them?
No. I'm gonna.
So
here you go.
That's where we can tell them, that we guarantee what we're good, because we only book ourselves one weekend. We don't middleman ourselves out. We don't, get a show and then call, Joe or, Mike to do the show for us. It's you only get, us. So that's been a big selling point for us, just because they know that they're going to get a good show. They know the quality. We show up. It's not some salesman trying to pitch a line on them, and then they show up with a totally different thing than what was promised. We show up with our haulers, we show up, we build the track, we do everything they need, whether it's we give them all the advertising, the tickets, the banners, whatever they need to be able to have a successful event. We try to do it because we want them to be able to come back year after year for monster trucks.
Let's say you say word of mouth. You have a relationship with all these racetracks and fairs, and they know what they're getting. It's not like they're gonna buy something and then something else shows up.
And that's just it. And I always give more than what I've ever promised. Like last year, we brought the second ride truck as just an added bonus, just to make the show seem that much bigger. Just like this year, we're going to be bringing the tank along just to make the show that much better. I don't know what the tank's going to do. I've never driven a tank with a blown alcohol motor in it, and then with the reverser and changing the tracks around backwards, it could be a total bust. It could be a wheeling machine. We don't know what it's going to do. So but we'll definitely start out with doing either the national anthems with it, and then going out there and ripping around, do some wheelies, crush some cars. We don't know what the tank's capable of yet until we get out there and try it. So that's why we just want to add it as a special thing, a part of the show. Keeping it back and totally surprise people with it halfway through the show or something, and come out and start ripping around. We don't know. We'll play that by ear. And then I don't know if you've seen the tough truck out there that we're building. It's
this one with the rack on the.
No, it's just that
top?
red. Yeah, the red. No,
okay,
just that
right
red
out front. Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's the tough truck that we've been starting to build. It's still in the works, but I mean that'll be something that'll make a lot of people laugh too when they see that.
Right.
So I mean,
will you bring that out at every show?
The ones that we can, because obviously
the outdoor shows. I mean.
Yeah, it's logistically wise, we're already up to 4 semis, so it all depends on how much more stuff we can cram into these things, because you can only have so much weight in these things, or you can only have so much stuff because the walls are only so big. So we'll see what we can do, whether it's some of the close ones we just have a buddy go out and grab a car trailer and bring it with, or whether we leave one ride truck some shows and we can throw the tough truck in. We'll see what happens there. Actually, on Sunday, we're sending a couple of the guys out to New Orleans because we bought one of Brandon Lagarde's trailers. So we're going to be adding a trailer to the fleet just because the team keeps growing. So it's we need more stuff.
So with that one, would that be like 5 trailers?
Yeah,
then?
that'll be 5 trailers now.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, I don't know where it's going to stop. You know, I couldn't tell you that. You know, we're having a good time. The guys enjoy it. You know, we've got great guys. Luckily, you know, we've got great local support too. That, you know, people will come out to the shows and help us out. So it's again, I have the job that millions of people dream of having, and it's because of the people that come to the shows and support us.
With you being local in Washington here, and I could remember maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago, maybe there's hardly any shows in Washington, Oregon, and all that stuff. But now you have like a stranglehold on the area, you know, and it just exploded.
I think it's done that, you know, all over. I think monster trucks are in the middle of their boom again right now. You know, it happened like 7, 8 years ago where just monster trucks were just insane with, you know, how many shows were around, and then it petered off for a while. And I think, you know, Monster Jam has a lot to do with that. You know, it's the more people see it on TV, the more they want to see it, you know, live. So it's when there's the supply, you know, there's got to be the demand kind of thing. So I mean, I'm thankful that, you know, Monster Jam does what they do, and I mean the crazy stuff that they do, because it makes people, you know, eager to go see the shows. Yes, I'm glad that Washington has as many shows as it is. We're at that point now where we're actually having to try to be, you know, cautious that we're not going to saturate too much, you know. So I mean, that's one thing that we're having discussions with, is I don't want, you know, a saturation to where people don't want to see it anymore. So it's as long as there's all quality shows, I think we're okay. But, you know, you start throwing a couple of bad shows in, or, you know, some lesser quality shows, it's going to ruin the market quick. So hopefully that will keep everything locked in.
So I noticed a lot of these racetracks like to have monster truck shows now too. Instead of having all races every weekend, but then they'll add a thrill show like a monster truck show or anything like that. I mean, from your experience of speaking to these people, what's their mindset about, maybe we won't have racing every weekend, maybe we'll throw in something, a little spice to it, you know, schedule.
Monster trucks is a totally different demographic than your average speedway guy. You know, it's monster trucks are, you know, built around kids and families. You know, where a lot of your racetrack guys, you know, your diehard sprint car guys aren't, you know, they don't bring their kids to the races usually. That's why racetracks normally, you know, 6 and under is free, because it's just not a big kid market. Where, you know, 4 to 12 years old is our main attendance, is the younger generation. So it's where the speedways, I think, is they see they have a fresh market coming in, people that haven't, you know, been there before, bought their souvenirs, haven't seen their racetracks before. So they're getting a whole fresh source for people to be able to, you know, potentially come back to their races if they enjoy being at the tracks. As well, I think a lot of these speedways realize that they don't just have racetracks. They're not just an oval. They have an event center. You know, so they can do other things than just do oval track racing, where they can put on events, you know, and that's ultimately, that's what you have, a place where people can gather and you can hold a large amount of people, and that's what they want. You know, that's what speedways are there for, is to make money, and they have the abilities. So that's what they're going to do, is whether they're going to do fireworks shows, or they're doing demo derbies, or they're concerts. I mean, you see a lot of tracks are doing a lot of things right now because they're realizing that an event center is where they're making a lot more money than versus doing a race and having 300 or 500 people in the stands, where they can get 3,000 people in the stands to do other stuff.
And I noticed, like, so many years ago, it's not probably the same as now. Now probably eyes are open to all that, the racetrack stuff. But what did you see like 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago? It was not that many racetracks having shows in Washington, Oregon area, maybe in the East Coast or where like that, but not around here. What did they see? What did they see now, which I didn't see 8 years ago, or
a lot of it started with because of most of your smaller speedways couldn't afford monster trucks because it was all middleman out there, and the first thing they got to do is hire somebody else, you know, and they want to be able to make money. So it's the shows were just so expensive, where when we come in and we do the shows, you know, we're able to build it to where they can afford it. So that opened the eyes, you know, and the doors to a lot of speedways that were, you know, weren't like Charlotte, you know, Motor Speedway or Las Vegas Motor Speedway, where they had, you know, enough people in the area that they could support having an expensive show. Where, you know, now you've got places, you know, with your smaller demographics or smaller populations that can have the shows. So that was one thing. The other thing that we ran into was before you'd talk with speedways and, you know, they'd say, you know, racetracks are race cars. You know, they were just adamant on, you know, that's what racetracks are for, was for just the race cars and, you know, and for Saturday night racing. And then I think with a few of them realizing that, you know, they could make some money, or, you know, believing or seeing something different, and they tried it and then they knocked it out of the park, or, you know, made a lot of money, or had a totally different group of people at their track than normally, and, you know, then they tried it again, because if you look at our schedule, you know, from 6-7 years ago, we only had a few speedways, and then it went from, you know, a few to, you know, 5 or 6, and then all of a sudden it went to 15, 20, because I think it was overnight they just realized, man, it's really working for these people, maybe we should do something, you know, or I got no clue, but I'm just glad it happened.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're gonna end here pretty soon, but I just noticed ever since I've been following the sport, monster truck, the industry, I know you're a very humble person as far as what your level is in the sport and stuff like, but you're
the guys don't think that some days. Some days I get just as ornery as anybody else, where, you know, I'm a very impatient person, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that Monster Trucks has helped me with, because there's always something to be doing. So my mind is always busy, so it, you know, I don't have a lot of time to, you know, focus on one thing, and, you know, having to wait to watch paint dry. Like we've been, you know, on this thing, I was waiting for the lettering to, you know, dry up yesterday, and it just was going too slow. So then we were able to move on to other things, and then I'll come back today and finish this thing up. So it's, again, it's something that there's never a dull moment with the monster trucks. Whether, I mean, I've been trying to finish that tank for, you know, 3 months now, but we just have so many other projects here and there, and, you know, fixing bodies, whether it's, you know, working on trailers, or just building the wife a fence down below, or just, you know, decide to, heck, both her and I both got sick last week, so then we were down for a couple of days. It's just, it never fails, you know. It's, life gets in the way of a lot of things, but, you know, we're still here.
Yeah. Okay, you have anything more to say, Bill?
You know, I'm always grateful that you come out. You know, you're always welcome to the shop. You know, I'm still waiting for your boy to, you know, come work for us. He's on his phone, probably playing a video game or something over there.
Yeah.
Again, you know, you guys are always welcome to come out here, and I'm glad you show people kind of what we do. You know, we love to give little tours to people. You know, I'm grateful for what we have. You know, so thank you.
Right. Okay, and then sometime down in the future, we're gonna have a video on your history and all that stuff. I like to get that. I know we've been talking about it, but I know. Okay, thanks, Bill.
All right, boss.